20 years ago, several leaders give SkyClan the boot after construction for ThunderClan's new highway goes right through their camp. In the present, Firestar's been leader for 9 months and feels pretty smug about it. He's busying himself by thinking about how much Bramblepaw looks like Tigerstar as usual when he's visited by the ghost of Warrior Cat's past. Ooh. Then he gives Brambleclaw the same suffix as his dad, because we're just not allowed to forget, are we? Then he sees the ghost again and tries to talk to it in front of everyone. Fireheart tells Cinderpelt about his visions, and as usual she denies their legitimacy. Thank you, Cinderpelt, for being so helpful. Suddenly, Longtail breaks into camp. He's been blinded after starting a fight with the entire cast of Watership Down. Literally nothing happens for weeks on end until Firestar decides to go see the ghosts on purpose instead. Who are these dead cats? Asks Firestar. All of the StarClan cats shuffle uncomfortably. No, seriously, you guys, says Firestar. After 2 hours of dodging the question, they tell him about how they literally kicked out an entire clan of cats to go live in a hole 15 years ago, 20 years ago, however long it was. Firestar decides that SkyClan needs his help. StarClan decides this is the worst idea ever conceived. Bluestar tries the 4 trees means 4 clans thing on him, and he screams at her and leaves. Cinderpelt tells him to have faith in StarClan, and this just makes him angrier. He sees the dead SkyClan cats again before Spotted Leaf breaks into his dream. Spotted Leaf tells him all about how dead cats can't do anything about physical events, and Omen of the Stars determined that was a lie. Firestar goes on patrol with Thornclaw, but the dead cats still won't leave him alone. Then Smudge appears, getting beat up by ThunderClan's youth. Apparently, Smudge is having the same dreams as Firestar. Smudge and Firestar's replacement fight over him for a while. Apparently, Firestar needed to be sleeping in SkyClan territory to actually speak with them. And as it turns out, the only reason the ghosts didn't ask for help sooner was because they were too proud to ask any clan cats that were descended from the ones that drove them out. Great job helping your clan, you guys. Firestar goes back and goes on patrol with Thornclaw again. Sootpaw gets attacked by a badger, which immediately kills Willowpelt, his mother. Fireheart then dreams of Silverstream, who always has good ideas, and she tells him to go save the dead cats instead of taking care of ThunderClan. Then Firestar takes all of his friends into the woods to tell them he's leaving ThunderClan to do who knows what. Sandstorm makes this about Spotted Leaf. Firestar tries to reassure her, but simultaneously totally admits he'd rather be married to Spotted Leaf. He solves this by taking Sandstorm along. Firestar then lies to everyone about where he's going and takes off. Sandstorm and Firestar experience Duck Hunt, a parking lot, a kitchen, and a thunderstorm before Sandstorm gets mad about how Firestar didn't actually want her to come. Then Bluestar's head appears in the sky and Sandstorm gets washed away. Bye, Sandstorm. Now we're free to date dead nuns to our heart's content. Then Firestar gets chased by a car and spends the night in a pile of garbage. He's saved by some stray cats and passively looks for Sandstorm by meeting them all and learning their names. He gets into a fight with a kitty pet that totally kicks his butt before Sandstorm jumps in and saves his pathetic life. They keep following the creek until they get to a gigantic hole. Here we are, says Firestar. Where are the cats? Says Sandstorm. Dead, replies Firestar. That's it. Book's over. SkyClan's been found. Firestar's quest is ended. Firestar has a small crisis about the cats around here not sharing his religion and then beats up the first cat he meets. Then Firestar and Sandstorm get pranked repeatedly by the local kitty pets. They hunt down the children and then corner and threaten them until they apologize. The cats tell him that all the cats are gone except for crazy old Moon Kitty who comes once a month to tell you about StarClan. They also say that they like to beat them up. Firestar and Sandstorm try to contact Moon Kitty, but they get muted on Twitter for spamming. All the other cats they meet are just comically rude to them. Moon Kitty returns to the gorge and they try to get noticed. I'm not Moon Kitty, shouts the cat. Do I sound like I'm Moon Kitty? The cat's real name is Spaceship Fur, a traditional SkyClan name. Neil Armstrong then tells them that the gorge absolutely sucks and nothing but terrible things happen to all the cats living there. This seems like the best place ever to rebuild SkyClan, says Firestar. Firestar starts immediately training the rude children to get buff. Then everybody gets into a fight with an innocent fox who just wanted some kittens for breakfast. Clover doesn't want to be a warrior. Clover wants to have babies until she dies. After recruiting Clover Jones and Sharp Sharp, Dr. Pepper and Cherry Dr. Pepper decide to round up all the people they know with the best legs. Firestar stands on a rock and tells all the cats that joining SkyClan is the only way to save their immortal souls. All of the reasonable people leave. Firestar renames all the cats in the most insulting ways he can manage, and for some reason they're all okay with it. Skywatcher pulls Firestar to the side and says, "Your grandchildren are gonna be pretty weird, dude." Firestar thinks about this prophecy briefly before forgetting about it for an entire arc. Then Skywatcher drops dead. Sharpclaw wants to be king. The Neo SkyClan cats tell Firestar that if they look in the mirror and say Meow Mix 3 times on the night that a cat dies, you'll die too. That's nonsense, says the cat who came here because ghosts told him to. Firestar's several problems include Clovertail doesn't want to do any work. My kits. Sharpclaw really wants to be leader. 9 lives. And Short Whisker needs to be the worst cat in the room. I'm more depressed than you guys are. Oh, and also that they don't have a medicine cat or any of the resources required to train them. The kittens find SkyClan's ghost zone and Firestar stomps down into the cave to tell them to send them a doctor. Rainfur, who didn't want to join the clan, comes crawling back when his wife and children are literally going to die. Ha! What a loser, am I right? Sharpclaw and Patchfoot pretend to be a fighting couple to distract the two-leg and sneak the kits out. Joke's on you, this is our wife now, says Sandstorm, bringing the kids to SkyClan. There's suddenly a suspicious amount of rats everywhere. Rats are easy, no problem, says Firestar, getting mauled by 700 of them. All the cats band together to defend the home that they've lived in for 2 weeks with their lives. Before they fight, Spotted Leaf floats down from heaven to treat Patchfoot and also to rub the fact that Firestar still has the hots for her in Sandstorm's face. Firestar makes it clear to Sandstorm that he only wants her. Until he dies, that is. Sharp Joe reminds everyone that he wants to be leader, which just leads to everyone fretting about not having a medicine cat again. Medicine cats are born, not made, says Firestar, completely invalidating Cinderbelt. Skywatcher, apparently the only SkyClan StarClan cat who wants to bother helping in his clan's restoration, floats down to tell Firestar that they totally have a medicine cat coming, he's just lost in the mail. Firestar takes Boris Sparrow and goes to the post office to get their medicine cat. They fight with Oscar the Grouch for a few seconds before she just shows up. You're a warrior cat, says Firestar. Okay, I'm already packed, responds Echo. Because they haven't seen rats in a few days, the SkyClan cats have decided that rats don't exist. Seconds later, the rats attacks. Billions of rats. Uncountable rats. Versus about 13 cats at most, give or take a few, I wasn't really counting. Then the rats retreat for basically no reason. So Firestar brings the fight to the rats, and everybody goes to heck immediately because nobody listens to anybody around here. Firestar tells them to get out of there, but Rainfur decides to drown in rats instead. Firestar jumps in to save him, and immediately dies. That's it, we're done, book's over, Firestar's quest is ended. Oh, and Rainfur's dead too, so you know it was all just for nothing. Firestar revives with his evil, God-given magic, and the rats form a giant rat. Spotted Leaf's ghost points to the leader rat, and Firestar kills it, causing the rest of the rats to explode. After the rat attack, Short Whisker decides to chicken out and go back to being Loserface the kitty pet. Sandstorm has had just about enough of being SkyClan's babysitter and really wants to go home now. Then Echo corners Firestar in a hole and tells him that Leaf Dapple is best girl. They catch Leaf Sarah and tell her that she's gotta be leader now. I'm not so great, says Leaf Dapple. I haven't even been to college. So they send Leaf Dapple to BCC for 2 years, and she comes back qualified to be everyone's manager for some reason. They push Leaf Dapple into the ghost hole to experience the torturous life-giving ceremony. Then Firestar and Echo Fluffy watch as Leaf Mitten screams in pain for 45 minutes. Sharp Guy settles for his new position, leader as soon as Leaf Star mysteriously disappears. Then Leaf Star gives Cherry Paw and Sparrow Paw warrior names impronounceable by man. Then Sandstorm finally manages to get Firestar to go home, and we have the ultimate 3-month time skip. And what do you know, Sandstorm is given birth. Sandstorm names the suspiciously red one Squirrel Kit and the suspiciously brown one Leaf Kit. Yeah, Sandstorm did the Leaf Kit thing. Not Firestar. Sandstorm.